Welcome guys, we have another deck profile here on the channel. We topped the regional in Berlin a couple of weeks ago, but now we don't have Ishizu Tier from Mod anymore, but that doesn't mean we stop topping. I actually won the regional today in Dresden, 81 players, I went 7-0, so I was undefeated. I actually played versus a lot of Rogue. I played versus 7 different decks, which is quite insane, but I played a pretty standard deck, I would say. Still, I'm going to show it to you anyway, so let's get into my undefeated KASHTIRA deck profile. So, my KASHTIRA monsters, first of all, I played 1 Scareclaw Kash, triple Fenrir, 1 Ogre, triple Unicorn, and double Rice Heart. I think the only things you could consider would be cutting the Ogre and upping the number of Rice Hearts. So, like, you could theoretically play triple Rice Heart and you could play 0 Ogres. Besides that, the Scareclaw KASHTIRA and the Unicorn ratios are pretty much set. I think you cannot play any less than that in the pure version of the deck. And honestly, I said you could theoretically cut the Ogre, but I really like the Ogre and I think you should definitely play the Ogre, and it was really good for me all day long. Especially, I played versus Sword Soul, for example, and this card alone outed the Sword Soul end board because it has 2800, so you just special summon the Ogre, crash into the Shishao, and then, yeah, the Shishao is not there anymore, and also the Blackout is not live anymore, so that's actually quite insane. And yeah, the cards are just super good, not gonna lie. Not gonna lie. Then the hand interactions we played today. I played with Triple Ash. That's just the first hand interaction you want to throw into your deck right now because it's super good versus Despia, and it's also generically good because Ashing Theosis or sometimes Ashing Unicorn even is really good. Then I went back and forth between Nibiru. I really didn't know whether to play it or not. In testing, sometimes I felt it was amazing, sometimes I felt like it was really weak. I ended up playing it today. Honestly, it didn't have that big of an impact. I Nibiru'd a Punk player once, where it was okay. I Nibiru'd Mathmech once, where it was also alright. And to be fair, I also Nibiru'd a Sword Soul player once, where it was pretty insane. So all in all, it did enough to justify its spot in the main deck, and I'm happy to run it, and I would probably continue to run it at the moment. And then we go over to the spell cards. Spell cards, we had triple, where is it? Triple Pot of Prosperity. You have to play this. This is just the best consistency card you have. You of course have even better interaction in this deck with your extra deck because you're running Garura, you're running Infinity Track Goliath, so this card is just super valuable and it helps you unbrick your hands as it does in every other deck. Then for the KASHTIRA spells, triple Theosis, never even consider cutting this card, it's just way too good, never set it out, you just need this. Definitely play it as often as you can, as much as you can. Triple field spells, same thing, it's just, it is insane, nothing to say there. KASHTIRA Birth, this was something where in the beginning people told me you could theoretically only play 2 of this, but for me personally, this card feels like the best card of the deck. Like, I'm talking about another card that I think is really insane, but it's not part of the engine, but from the KASHTIRA engine, this card is probably the card that gives you the most power and the most access to play through opponents' boards, and therefore KASHTIRA Birth is just a super big powerhouse. And what else do we have? We have the triple Book of Moon. I actually tested a build first where I played Book of Moon and Book of Eclipse, both 3 copies. I ended up cutting the Book of Eclipse because it didn't really work out. I still kept on playing the Book of Moons, but I gotta say, they were alright, but they definitely were not insane, and probably going forward I would actually just end up cutting them and probably play like more hand traps or something. You could even consider playing Veilers, you could consider playing Ghost Mourners or something. I think that's more valuable. Or something I also like and also considered before the event but ended up not doing it. You could also just main deck Evenly, which is also super good going second, of course. And then the other card, which I think is like the best card non-engine wise in the deck, the triple Forbidden Lands. Your main goal of the deck right now is just to summon a Rice Sword and protect it at all costs, because Macrocosmical Nex is a pretty big threat for basically all of the decks except KASHTIRA in the metagame, and this card helps you protect it even further from every spell trap card in the game, and therefore you feel super safe when you end on a Rice Sword and this beautiful card in your back row. And every time I had this plus a Rice Sword, I probably just won. And also it's worth mentioning that this card helps you play through back row boards. For example, you summon Zeus versus Labyrinth, and then they have Skill Drain already face up on the board. Hey, you just use the Zeus, chain the Forbidden Lands, and yeah, your Zeus will be unaffected by skill drain, and therefore it will just wipe the board. So Forbidden Lands, super flexible card, I like it. Terraforming for the good field spell. Because I play Ogre, I of course also play the Preparations, and this card is super good. Like, I don't know why people did not play this in the beginning, but every time I get Even Lead, I usually just keep this card because it's the most insane follow-up this deck has. You just can special summon every single turn from your banish pile, which you usually will have filled because a Rysart will banish all of your cards. So it's just insane. And Big Bang, yeah, the banish effect is huge. The on-field effect also came up multiple times today, so definitely a big fan. And yeah, more hand traps. Impermanence. I thought this card is not good because Trap Tricks is now a bigger part of the format, and this is not good for Sarah, of course. But I figured out against Kashtira in the mirror match, it's just too good. There's a lot of Swords where it is really good as well, and therefore just one of the most generic and best hand traps in the game, and also part of my deck. Clean 40. Going over to the extra deck, I played triple Rysart, and mostly when I resolved Prosperity, of course, banished one of them. Still, I would not play less than 3, because if you're playing the grind game, especially the mirror match, this card is your main win condition. You can banish opponents, Rysarts with Unicorn, with Mindhacker and so on. And if you don't have a Rysart in the mirror match, you're probably not winning, and therefore you just gotta have more in the grind game. In every other matchup, it's not that important, but in the mirror match, it's really good to have triple Rysart, and therefore I want to run it. Double Zeus. Of course, the main reason is because they can banish one with Unicorn or with Mindhacker. But I have played multiple games actually where I summoned both of the Zeus in my extra deck in multiple consecutive turns, and therefore you could even consider playing 3 at that point, to be honest. It's just a really, really strong and powerful card still. I played double Big Eye. In the beginning I only ran 1, but I think it's a pretty big disadvantage, because if your opponent in the mirror match sees that you're running double Zeus and triple Rysart, they're not going to banish either of those. But if you then only play 1 Big Eye, they always are going to banish the Big Eye, and therefore I wanted to prevent that, and I just ran the second Big Eye, so they never could banish Big Eye either. Then the double Shangri-Ira, I don't think you need 3, I don't really see a reason to play another one. Dark Armed is good, Dracorsec, in theory is good versus like Skill Drain and stuff to out it, but I literally never summon it, to be honest. Mindhacker, part of the combo, really good card. Because we play Prosperity, the Goliath, and the Garura. I tested the Entis as well, but I don't think it's super necessary, because usually if they out your Rysart and Entis is attached, they're not going to have a board anyway, so Entis is not really there to pop anything. And then I played the Donner. Didn't summon it today, but in testing it definitely came up. And in testing, sometimes I even wished that I would have 2 of this, because some smart players will actually banish the Donner when you Nibiru or something, and then you don't really have the chance to play, and can be really, really, really awkward. Definitely a good card. Definitely make sure to play the Donner. It is a crucial part of the extra deck, and the only link monster you're basically going to summon in this deck. And then last but not least, I did play the double Ghost Spell. Shoutouts to Tim, those are his ghost belts because I had to lend them from somebody from the tournament. This in theory is really good because it's super good versus Mothmech, it's super good versus Despia specifically to deny the Gimmick Puppet lock. I only cited 2, I did not draw it a single time today, so I cannot really say anything about it in practice. I did play triple Gameciel, and I talked about that on stream a lot. I think Kaijus are just the best solution to the Kashtira matchup right now, because if they full combo you, Gameciel is going to solve the problem, because the zone lock is not going to be applying anymore if you Kaiju one of the Shangri-Iras. If you go Rysart Pass, which I usually do, this is even better, because they just don't have a board anymore, and all of their cards go into the graveyard if you just Kaiju the one Rysart. So it's really, really powerful. I also cited this in versus a lot of other matchups. I Gameciel, Traptrix Rafflesia, and other cards versus Sorcerer, it's decent. I think this is just the best answer to the Kashtira matchup currently available. Evenly matched, I think you are missing out if you're not playing this card in your side or main deck right now. It's just a blowout card. There's not that many negation around, so definitely just this card is usually just deciding the outcome of the game, and you want to play cards that are deciding the outcome of the game. Then I played triple Cosmic. I tested Denko Sekar a lot, but I wasn't really happy with it, and I wanted something more flexible. So this is also targeting back row decks, but this is interacting way better, for example, with the Runic deck as well, because you can hit the Runic Fountain, of course, and yeah, it's just all around better in my opinion. And then I played 2 tactics. Kind of a weird number, but I ended up having the space for 2 tactics because there was also 1 Happiest Feather Duster in there. This is for back row as well. This is an all-around good card. I think you could theoretically also main the Talons right now. I don't want to play Book of Moon anymore, so I might as well test out Talons in the main deck, to be honest. They were quite good. And then the 1 card for going first was be a pointer. I didn't really have that much space, and I also didn't want to sacrifice a lot of cards for going first, because I think my deck is good going first anyway, so I didn't really want to put in a lot of cards. And like playing a 1 of Dimensional Barrier or playing a 1 of Rivalry or something feels super weird, so I just wanted to have 1 card for going first. A pointer is insane. You can just look at the opponent's hand and grab the best card they have, and then you are just way ahead. And yeah, I didn't perform the zone lock very often today, but in theory, the theory was I am going to zone lock them with the Lemke YGO tokens, so they get mad about it. And after 3 Lemke YGO tokens, they're like, okay, they're going to do it to me. Then my girlfriend also comes into place, so they get even more mad. And then, good old, where is he? Oh yeah, and then Jens, shout out to our sponsor, is sealing the deal then as well with the Jens token. Alright, yeah. Thank you very much for watching. This is another win or top, however you want to call it, for the Lemke YGO community. Thank you so much for supporting everyone. Special shout outs to Icentrix, aka Philip, because most of the cards you saw here are actually his cards. He borrowed me the Kashtira deck core, and I couldn't have won this event without him. So all the love to him. Thank you so much. And all the love to the community in general. Definitely make sure to check out my social media or my Twitch streams. See you online wherever you want. Bye bye, guys.